It's probably the first machine I bought that has put years on to my life rather than take years off it.
Let me free your mind. Your mind. Your mind. Let me free your mind. Your mind. Your mind.
Well, whenever I rung you the other day, whenever I was told I was going to Kelso to film an FR, I wasn't expecting an Antrim accent, to be honest with you.
My wife says whenever I go on the phone or speak to people from back home, I pick up my accent straight away. She says I do lose it a wee bit whenever I'm talking to her, but
Yes.
we moved here in 2005, came over and looked at a bit of ground, and my dad and my uncle bought a farm, and the plan was to do a bit of farming, but we sort of got sidetracked into a bit of contracting as well, so that's where that started. Still farm back at home, so back then we used to bring the machinery over from home, and then a couple of neighbours over here got us to help them, and it just sort of grew arms and legs from there. So, and now there's no shortage of work, so
So no need to go home then?
no need to go home. Just need to recruit drivers from home.
So where are you originally from then?
Aldergrove, just outside Antrim, beside the international airport, not that far from Greenmount, and that's probably good for getting contacts. I was through Greenmount, but went to Greenmount, and after I left Greenmount, then went to New Zealand for a year. Well, when I say a year, went to New Zealand for 6 months and rung my dad and said, "This boy I'm working for out here says he'll fly me out every year." And my dad says, "When you're home to stay." So I stayed another 2 months, and that was the last bit of travelling I got done. And then, as I say, we ended up with a farm over here and sort of come back and forward for a couple of years. But I actually really enjoy the area and farming over here. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with farming back at home, but there just seems to be a few more opportunities out here. That's the way I would put it. But
In what way?
the community would be more probably aware of farming. I found at home, a lot of the time at home, you could have been getting complaints if you were working too late, or noise pollution, or there's a lot of people out in the country at home that aren't from the country. Whereas here, I don't think it has changed in the 20 years I've been here. It's the same people out in the country, and they sort of know what farming's about here, like, so.
Yes.
It's easy to get on with your work, like, so it is. But and then of course the scale comes into it as well, bigger scale. So you.
No, that's ridiculous over here. What size are these fields?
And round here, this field round's probably 50 or 60 acres, but plenty of the fields would average around here between 35 and 40 acres, like, which is madness when you think about it.
There's always a smaller farms at home.
Well, I'll tell you this here, the first summer I got sent over here to do the harvest, I was combining, we were combining the winter barley, and we'd moved on to the winter wheat. And I rung home, and my uncle says to me, he says, "How are you getting on?" I says, I did on with all the winter barley combine. He says, "Everybody else caught up?" I says, we're going well, because I says, the boy up the road hasn't combined his winter barley, so we're finished before him, that's all good. He says, "Where's that?" I says, "Out the Earlstown Road, just past the tower on the right hand side." He goes, "All right." He rung me back about an hour later. He says, "Exactly where is that field?" And he told me, and he goes, "That's our field, you better get it cut." So I wasn't, that's how how badly lost I was on the scale of it, so I had to get the contractor back to cut the last field of barley. But you get used to it pretty soon, pretty quick too.
Well, have you always been a New Holland man?
Yep, before, not many people will know this, but when I was very young, we used to have internationals.
Yes.
I suppose I would have a hidden passion for a couple of internationals, but
A wee soft spot
for them. But yeah, New Holland. And a lot of that is to do with dealer backup and dealer service. That's, if you can keep a machine moving. But I do have a 7740 with 2,500 hours on her, which is pride and joy. So
Yes.
that's my retirement. I'm going to run about in tractor runs and drive about in it. So.
You never ever heard at all?
I actually used her to put the cows and calves out to the field on the trailer just to get driving her, every so often. But I think it's just pretty much nostalgicness that you're buying these tractors that you used to drive whenever you were 14 and 15. So last year we ended up coming across a TM 155 and always wanted to get one out of them, so we got one of them gathered up too. So the old machinery could be gathering up quicker than the new machinery.
Which one breaks down less?
Well, the old stuff because you use it less.
So how long have you the FR now?
This is the first season with this FR. 920. We had a 780 before it for 4 seasons. I get on reasonably well with the New Hollands, with the FRs. My biggest gripe was the header. And they brought me out the prototype last year, and to say it was a breath of fresh air would be an understatement. I really think they've sort of nailed it right here now with this new header. Probably the first machine I've bought that has put years on to my life rather than take years off it. So that's definitely the new header is a massive improvement. So.
But what difference is in her? You can tell by looking at her, there's a brave chunky feed roll on her, but
yeah,
everything's
everything's heavier duty. It's driven by belts instead of chains. All offers just more and more heavier duty. The flow into your feed roller seems to be at a nicer level rather than up and down a wee bit. The press on the front offer compacts the grass well. It doesn't seem to matter about lumps whatsoever. And sitting in the harvester, you can the flow rate going through her is a lot nicer. It's less lumpier, whereas before the harvester would have been bawing, and then come back. Whereas this here just sits at a nice flow rate, so. And you can see it when the grass is going out the spout. Whenever I have trailers here, that is. But no, well impressed with it. Well impressed with it. Don't have too much bad to say about it at all. But then again, it is the first season, so all these things take time.
Touch wood.
Touch wood, that's right. So we'll see what happens anyway.
So does the farmer a couple of his own tractors on the day then?
Yeah, he puts on his own tractor. He mows the grass and tends it out, and then he also puts on a couple of trailers as well. So that's a bit of a juggling act, where the fields are and how many trailers you need and stuff like that there. But it works reasonably well. Years ago, you used to get another trailer pulling up beside you, and you would have blew over the top of that trailer into the other one. And as the harvesters have went on and progressed and got bigger and bigger, there's that much stuff coming out the spout now that if you make a mistake, you have nearly a trailer load flipping blew over the field. So I had to stop doing that. So.
The farmer coming in there to shear gravel in there. That's some flow stuff coming out of that too, honestly.
It is, yeah, it is. It is pretty dry, the grass there today, but that's a brave flow of stuff coming out. We'll have an NIR sensor on her, so it does tell you everything that's happening, tonnage and fluids, but it all goes downloaded to an app and stuff, and then you can send it to the farmer just to give them a wee bit more information.
Well, would there be many FRs about this part of the world? Or are you the only man?
This part of the world isn't like back at home where there is a lot of harvesters, you know, you could probably count on one hand within a 30-mile radius of here how many harvesters there are. There are a few farmers have their own machines, and then a couple of larger contractors. But the main thing about this area would be cereals. So there would nearly be as many combines scattered about here as there is harvesters in Northern Ireland. Like so, but there'd be one or two A4s about. A new header keeps performing like this. There may be 2 or 3 more up here. Like so.
You're confident in it anyway?
I'm very confident in it. Very confident. Last year when they brought us out the demo of it, or the prototype of it, we were in a field and we were doing 5k up the field in the old header, and we changed on to the new header and we were nearly doing 9.5k, just over 9k we were doing with it in the exact same row, same sward of stuff. So the difference it made was just phenomenal.
So do you ever have anything else other than the FR? No? Like, do you ever have a Connon, a John Deere? Or
I had last year before I got the prototype header out for the day. I had everything. I had a John Deere, I had a Class, and I had a Crone. Not one of them I would say is a bad harvester. They all have their good points, and people like whatever they like, you know. But once I got the new header, and that's my preference was to stay with this year. And as I said, the biggest thing is dealer backup too. We buy all our New Holland tractors from Lloyd's, we buy the harvester from Lloyd's, combines, balers, so the level of service we get from them is very, very good, so there would be no reason to go away from them, considering the product was there as well. If you were asking me to rate my preferences, I would probably, if I didn't buy a New Holland, I probably would have bought a Crone, and in fact, it probably was very, very close to buying a Crone. Back to the header again, other than them bringing out the header. I have full faith in the rest of the A4. It was just the header that was giving me the issues. So it was very, very close to going to a Crone, but the New Holland header made the difference, like so.
So do you think the older header is the only reason there's not more of these about the country? Because I would have said for a long, long time that the FR was a very underappreciated harvester.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the thing about the FR, it isn't massive upkeep with her. The expense of blades, shear bar, the parts aren't bad compared to some of the prices of the other machines, like servicing of them was pretty good, so I would be greatly surprised if some people don't demo an F4 now and are swayed that way to go into them. Like, but listen, all machinery dealers, all machinery manufacturers are pushing hard with their product now. Like, so there's plenty of good machines out there. It's just your own preference, isn't it? But
well, if you walked into Lloyd's tomorrow and they had just picked up the Crone dealership and you had the FR and the Crone sat beside each other and you were going to get the good service, what one would you go for?
That's a very good question, isn't it? If they're both, I would stay with the F4 definitely. The wee thing that I know it's very trivial, but one of the wee things with the header and this one was that I noticed compared to the Crone. So if the metal detector went off or the stop rock went off, you reverse this out and she completely clears herself. And you could just lift up and go again. Whereas with the Crone, when I had it out, 9 times out of 10, I had to get out to clean and underneath it. You know, clean the grass out of it. She wasn't cleaning it out 100%.
And that tail end on the back of it.
A wee bit in there. And it might sound stupid, but I mean, you have the metal detector goes off 10 times a day and you have to get in and out. It just sucks up a lot of time and energy too.
So what sort of horsepower is this harvester then? Is she the 9?
I think it is 920, yeah, I think that's where it is and about. Like, I can feel her from driving her. You know, the blades are rightly down on her there, as you can see there. You know, they're well down, so the blades could probably do with being pulled forward and the shear bar turn, you know, so I can feel her just not running as crisp as what she maybe should do, but
She's still doing 15k there. So.
She's still going alright, and that's uphill. I'll change the blades or move them forward, but you just try to get as much out of them as you can, you know. I usually like to try and have the knives, new set of knives in when we're going to the whole crop, which isn't that far away either, so probably need done soon.
Well, is this meant starting second cut over here then? Is that the tail end of a first? Or?
Yeah, second cut now has started in the last sort of week, but there's still a lot of first cut to do. We'll usually not finish first cut the sort of 10th of July, that sort of way. Like, so that's where the extra horsepower comes in very, very handy for the crops are very heavy.
Yes. Well, I take it this is a multi-cut man then, is it?
Yeah, that's where you usually do 3 or 4 cuts, like, so it all depends on the year, you know, and grass growth and stuff like that there. But
do you find anybody over here is into that sort of big multi-cut, like your 5-6 cuts?
There's
or?
1 or 2 boys doing it. In this area, it's probably drier and warmer than home, or over in the west of Scotland. So the grass growth here is very, very high for 4 or 6 weeks, and then it doesn't come just as early, and then it maybe goes away a wee bit sooner. It would be more prone to growing good cereals in this area, you know, so multi-cut system would just, you need everything to go right for it if you're going to try and get 5 or 6 cuts. Like,
yeah.
I noticed that like the winters would be colder and drier, and the summers would be drier and usually hotter, but in the last 2 years it has got more like back home, you know, it has got milder and wetter.
I suppose we're basically in France here, this sort of weather.
You've come on a good day. I think the air conditioning isn't working great in the shovel today.
I don't think it's working at all, never been great.
I just don't ask any questions, just keep sending the grass in. So.
Is the 2-side open? I think there's 2-side windows open. I think he's looking for a draft in between.
It's a good grape on her. Did you see the grape?
Wait, what grape's on her?
That's 2 local boys made it, Conor and Graham Sharp, and
yes.
Absolutely delighted with it. That improved the game massively too, was going from, like at the very start we were buckraking with a 320 and then went to a 416 and then eventually to the 435, and at the time we were going for the 435. Patrick probably would have went for a Volvo, other than our local dealerships only a couple of mile away for JCB, and very good backup and service from them, like, so.
Is any of these dealerships know you're coming out today? Like, are you getting commission for everything you're saying?
I hope if I keep saying this, I'll get commission. No, but listen, if you work with somebody and somebody's willing to work with you, you can get on better at business. Like, you know, it's.
You never chanced 457 yet, then?
We had one out last year in demo. Listen, I don't do too much buckraking at all, but. They had it out last year, and yeah, they were impressed with it and stuff. I don't know. I'll not say no, but I don't know for the price difference between it and the 435, whether we would go away from the 435. Whenever the 435 is not in the silo, we would have it full and dung, and I don't think you would really need a 457 full and dung, like, so. And the 435 has been very, very good to us. There's not a lot of hassle with it at all, apart from the air conditioning. But
that doesn't affect you, right?
That doesn't affect me. The air conditioning works well in the ears.
Whenever the other farm stops off.
That's it.
At least you're filling on the right side.
You're right. There's some debates about that, isn't there? Right. Oh, fucking unreal.
See, to be fair, if I was driving a harvester, I would probably want to look out past shoulder the whole time.
Aye, out to the right.
Aye.
And the whole crop, we'd be striping the field. You'd go out either side, and the problem is the trailer drivers. The trailer drivers are used to that side. They're used to looking over their right shoulder more. It doesn't really overly bother me filling out to either side, but I've just always done it to this side, so always keep doing it, like. So.
And that's right, whenever you have a crew of Irishmen over with you.
Yep,
See,
yep.
if you had, say, 10 Irish and 10 Scottish, the Irish boys can park at one end of the field till they're near it.
I don't know. I don't know what way that work. I'm not going to slate the Scottish. I work for a brief week of them. Will not mention the football last night either.
Oh, no. Touchy subject, isn't it?
To be fair, if Scotland had qualified, it could have even less workers today.
That's some farm there.
Had a great farm, a great ground here as well. You're in a very good area. Like, it's just a big dairy farm, and it's I don't know what there'll be. There'll be somewhere around 600 or 700 acres across, cut 3 or 4 times, and then a lot of whole crop as well.
Somebody tell me he's milking 2,000 cows or something.
I don't know that he's just quite there yet, but he'll probably not be too long. He's there. So. But it is very big, very clean, very well run farm. Like it's on these fields, like you know, not slating back home again, but like they're a pleasure to work in. You know, you can get on and get plenty of work done. Like.
Here's an Irish fella here too, isn't
Yeah. There's I got a couple of them roped in there over for the Highland Show to do a couple of days' work when they were here. Like, so.
Funny, Gareth done the same. We went to the Highland Show and roped into filming, so you just must have had a good phone call the other night.
Well, as I say, I told all them boys that you were coming to film on Sunday to get them down the road, so get them roped in to doing work. But last night wasn't too rosy, everybody about the fields, like, so.
All picture, no sound.
All picture, no sound, that's exactly it. But here, the way machinery's going now, it's very hard for a young fella, you know, to be trusted on a new big machine. Like, whenever I started driving, like, the first tractor I ever drove was a Massey 135. And, you know, then you moved on to a few of the internationals and 7.610s and stuff like that there. And the machines were a lot smaller back then and going a lot slower, and it seemed to be that you had more time to do stuff. Now everything's a lot bigger, a lot more expensive, and everything's rushed. So much so that you don't have time to maybe enjoy it as much as what we used to, like.
But I think it's a UK thing too. Like, I find that you with the likes of Australia and New Zealand, you're far more likely to get a chance driving these sort of things.
Yeah, oh, very much so. But then, you know, a young fella, when he would come to you to work, he would have got the oldest tractor and the smallest tractor, or the smallest trailer, you know. Now, the small trailers are like 16-ton trailers. The only advantage out here is you've bigger fields, you know. You're in a field longer in the day, so less gate posts to go through, so there's a chance you might get away easier, like, so. But listen, with machinery, everybody can have accidents and mistakes. Like, I've had plenty in my day, and like, you try and learn from it, but you know,
some of them can't be helped either, though.
Some of them can't. That's it. That is it. But like, I used to get cross and really pissed off with it and stuff like that. But you know what? You soon find out the only person you're doing any harm to is yourself. You know, so these things happen. You just have to sort of try and find the best way to get it. Shearing a sheep, exactly. That is exactly right. Not that I've sheared that many sheep.
Oh, I mean, even just working with sheep.
Yeah.
So, as your general staff situation, like, I know you say you have a lot of boys over for the show, but have you normally bothered getting drivers, or?
That goes in circles, like, comes and goes. Like, sometimes you have plenty of staff, sometimes you don't. You stick videos up on Facebook or Snapchat or something like that there, and the next thing you'll get people messaging you saying, have you any work? And, you know, sometimes you have to try and do some sort of background check on people to see what they're like, you know, to see, you know, are they capable of doing anything? And then other times you had to just chance it, like. But I would have staff from back home, yeah, a few boys from back home, and then a few local boys and a few Scottish boys from further afield. The biggest thing with staff is keeping everybody happy, you know, and everybody can have tantrums on different days and being different sort of moods, but if you can usually keep everybody remotely happy, that work's not too bad. And then moving forward, do you go looking for more staff to ease the workload a bit on the other boys and stuff? Hard to know what the right way to do it is now.
Well, and that's more stuff to try and keep happy in the winter time if you're gonna.
Yeah. And that's there's no right or wrong answer to it. Like you know, you could take on more staff and have more work and have more hassle. Like, but you could have less staff and need more staff and then still have hassle. Like, so that's the world's a smaller place now with social media. So people seem to stay your 2, 3, 4 years and then want to move on somewhere else and try something else. You know, and greatly doubt there'll be very few people on the same farms now for 25 or 30 years. Like, I think that day's sort of gone. Like, 'cause you can't blame somebody if it's not their farm or their business. You know, you can't really blame people wanting to go and. Like, I would always say to the young ones to go away, travel, go to New Zealand, go to Australia and see a bit of the world, you know, but time enough settling then when you're 25 or 30, like, you know, you might as well see about the world.